The situation couldn't be closer. Two men at the top of the World Cup table and very little between them. 10 points the advantage that the Norwegian Ulе-Éinar Bьёrndalен has over Rikko Grosс. After 16 races, that is the smallest of margins. The conditions today just coming up on the screen. 4.2 the snow temperature, minus I hope, and the wind 0. So we couldn't really have hoped for better than that. I think we've got a confusion of the air and the snow temperature there. It's 4.2 the air temperature, minus 0.7 is the snow temperature. So certainly ideal for spectators. A little bit warm for the skiers. And I'm surprised to see so many of the big names choosing to go in groups 3 and 2, as opposed to getting an early start while the snow is still a little bit colder. But that's the way they've chosen it. The course, you can see the difference in height is 58 meters. The biggest climb, 34 meters, vertical meters that is, of course. And really, that's not a problem. The altitude, 645, so there's no problem there. And it's a 20-kilometer distance race. They shoot 4 times, and so they'll go round the 4-kilometer loop on 5 different occasions. And we've seen many of the races change in the last 4 kilometers after that final shoot. And one of the big names, Halvor Hannavold, is starting at number 101 of 104 starters. And he makes a habit of coming from behind. So watch out for him in the later starters. Germany, Norway, Russia still make up the bulk of the favourites. And there we just get the rundown of the World Cup table at the moment. 10 points, as I say, between the leading two. Svend Fischer, Frode Andersen, Halvor Hannavold and Рафаэль Пуаре, all battling it out for the 3rd place. And certainly those lower places are just as important. Vladimir Dračёv, 2 consecutive wins. He's now up into the top 10 for the first time this season. And don't rule him out of making it 3 in a row. So the final minutes of preparation before the men's 20-kilometer gets underway, and many of the lesser-known athletes are starting in the first group between numbers 1 and 24. And Britain have their representatives out on the track again today. Jason Sklenar will be the first to go at number 3. Mike Dixon going at number 44, and Mark G in group 3 at number 66. So watch out for them. These are the standings in the individual World Cup, so that's the World Cup based on the results of all the 20-kilometer races, and you can see that Rikko Grosss was at the top. Halvor Hannavold, though, if he comes in ahead of Rikko Grosss today, could snatch the victory. One of the results is eliminated at the end of the season. Only 4 races to count, and this, of course, is the 5th individual race. So, as I say, 104 starters, so it's going to take 52 minutes in all to get them underway. And the race time expected between 53 and 55 minutes. Not the hardest of courses. They've done well to get the snow prepared. And they've been, in a sense, very fortunate. This time last week, they thought they were going to have to relocate the competition to either Bad Gastein or keep it in Pokluka. But 15 to 20 centimeters of snow fell last Thursday, and they've managed to prepare the track sufficiently. The sun is out, there's absolutely no wind at all, and it couldn't be a fairer contest. The best man is likely to win on the day, but it's been an extraordinary season in the biathlon. Of the 16 races, we have 12 different winners. Germany have 5, Norway 1 ahead of them with 5 winners, but Russia, Belarus and France have all had their men on the top. Jason Sklenar of Great Britain just about to start his race, missed out on Olympic selection. So the 27-year-old from Cheltenham must really produce 2 good races in these final 2 races of the season if he is to impress the selectors for next year. So Jason starts out on his 20-kilometer challenge. And really his success is going to depend on his performance in the range, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see that. Akanuma, a new member of the Japanese team, getting a chance to show his talent at the latter part of the season. And one thing you can be assured is he'll be very, very quick over the snow. And as with most of the Japanese, their downfall comes in the range. But we're waiting for the day when one of them shoots clear, because there's little doubt that they'll end up in the top 10. Theo Sonana, the first of the Italians to start the race. And most of the Italian fans will be looking out to Pier Alberto Carrara, the silver medalist in this event from the Olympic Games. He starts at number 79 and is currently lying 19th in the World Cup. So Carrara certainly has a chance to move up into the top 15 if he can finish the season with 2 good races. Oleg Rishenkov, right up in 7th place in the World Cup last year. Hasn't really happened for him this year. His best performance he saved for the Olympic Games. He was 9th in the individual race there, and certainly a repeat of that would keep him happy. But on that day he missed just 2 targets out of the 20, 1 in each of the standings. So Rishenkov has had a lean season by his standards and would love to finish it well. Kjetil Seiter, another new name in the Norwegian camp, also giving Bard Mjoln an outing, and Mjoln will start just 1 minute after Seiter. But both of them producing good results in the individual race in Pokluka, so watch out. These are names to watch out for in the future. 28th Seiter in Pokluka individual, having shot clear, one of 9 men to do so. Stéphane Azambre of France, and maybe the French are looking to him to head the new squad. Many of the French team retiring. I don't think Рафаэль Пуаре will retire quite yet. He's had a phenomenal season, and currently lying in 8th place in the World Cup. He was heading the table. My apologies to him. He's in 6th place, having had a very good outing in Pokluka. Bard Mjoln, second of the Norwegians to go, and the big guns in the Norwegian team who'll be starting today. Dag Bjørndalen goes at 26, Ulе-Éinar, the younger brother, goes at 72, and Ule-Éinar, of course, the current World Cup leader. Frode Andersen, he starts at number 76. Now he's currently lying in 2nd place. And Frode Andersen, certainly a name to watch out for. He's an exciting biathlete, but consistency in the range has been his problem throughout the season, and hence we see him win some races and we see him out of the top 30 in others. Halvard Hanivold is the last of the big Norwegians to get away at number 101, and Hanivold could actually win the individual World Cup title, and that will depend on whether he can beat Rikko Gross of Germany, but we'll find out that in an hour and a half or so.
I've had my share and given my face, but I've come through. We are the champions, my friend.
This week.
The men's 20-kilometer individual. Still very early days as number 14, Zoltán Teixeira of Hungary, gets underway. And plenty more to come. 104 starters scheduled to go, with some of the big names starting in that last group. So the race is certainly not going to be decided until the likes of Hanivold, Wustenfeld, Patrick Farther come across the line after their 55 minutes of racing. And 55 would be an average time. The quickest time over this 20 kilometers is around 52 minutes. And it varies very little. The only major change we've had was in the Olympic Games, where the conditions were very hard indeed, and also some very testing courses. Mark Kirchner, hero of old, his demise has really continued throughout the season, and it's very sad to see him not performing to his best. Remember, the triple world champion in the sprint, the individual and the relay in 1991, the Olympic champion in the sprint in 1992. So he has 1 or 2 gongs to hang around his house, but Mark Kirchner really hasn't shown his best this season. So 2 last chances for him to improve. as Günther Beck of Austria has got his calculations wrong. He's missed his start time, but the clock has started, and maybe Günther Beck has retired altogether. We haven't heard about that, and seemingly the officials haven't heard either. But there'll be one man in a panic, that's for sure. Number 19 is Ruslan Lysenko. Now, this man was very quick indeed in Antolz, but he missed 6 targets in all. Ricardas Gracinovas of Lithuania, who was due to go before him, seems to have retired as well. So number 17 and number 18, by my reckoning, have not started. So if you're looking for them, you can relax a little. They're not out on the course. But Ruslan Lysenko of Ukraine certainly is going to be, and he starts about now. Konstantin Popov of Russia will start after him. But the lesser-known biathletes all being drawn in the first group, with a few of them in the back group as well. The most popular and all the powerhouses going in groups 2 and 3. So they'll be starting between number 25 and number 75. So, Stefan Hoder of Germany. Now, the Germans really do have a very strong squad. The big names you need to watch out for. Frank Luck, of course, who's so consistent throughout the season. He's got 2 victories to his name. He's only one of 4 men to have achieved that this year. He goes at number 29. Svend Fischer, the ever-popular German, he goes at 47 and has a real charge in this latter part of the season, and is currently up into 3rd place. I don't think Sven is going to make it to the top 2, but he could secure his 3rd place today with another good result. Rikko Gross in 2nd place in the World Cup, still challenging to take the Norwegian Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen to the wire, and it's absolutely vital that Rikko Gross comes in ahead of Bjåndalen today. Gross starts at 57 and Bjåndalen starting at 72, so Bjåndalen will be able to track his rival's progress throughout the race and has a slight advantage, but only 12 minutes or so between their starting times, so the conditions won't change at all. Peter Sendel of Germany, who really started to improve just after Christmas in the meeting at Antolz. That's where he won his Olympic selection, and ever since then he's looked very steady in this individual event and is currently lying in 3rd place in that competition. He's 10 points behind 2nd place, so if he can score a lot better than Halvard Hannavold today, Peter Sendel may well move up one, but I think he's out of reach of Rikko Gross, the current leader in that World Cup competition. Janis Osbolt, the first of the Slovenians away. And don't count out these lesser-known nations. The Czech Republic, the Slovenians and the Latvians really have improved this season, and the thing that's improved is their skiing times. They're now competitive. They know if they shoot clear that they can certainly finish in the top 10, and if they shoot clear and have a good ski, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't see them on the podium. And perhaps the Latvians have the best chance of that. The likes of Jakub Nakums and Maluhins are all skiing so much better than we've seen in previous seasons. So our first chance to see the range, and remember they're shooting 4 times today. First in the prone, the lying position, 2nd in the standing, and then they repeat the process. So 4 times into the range, 4 kilometers to ski in between each shoot, and 5 targets to hit on each occasion. Only 5 rounds with which to do so. 1 minute added to your time for every target missed. So a little bit of time taken preparing yourself for the shoot often pays off. The clock on the left of the target indicates the time taken in seconds. So 15 seconds already for Ryschenkov as he prepares himself. And, well, he took his time, but obviously failing to settle himself. There's no wind to give him any problem. There hasn't been any temperature change since they zeroed their rifles 45 minutes ago. And a poor start for Belarus's Ryschenkov. 2 misses, 2 minutes added to the time, and you can see that's put him way behind the likes of Akanuma of Japan, who's gone clear after that first shoot. Jason Sklenar of Great Britain, a disappointing start for him. He's also missed 2, and he can ill afford that. 13:06 his time. He's already over 2 minutes behind the leaders, and a bad start for Jason. He's going to have to shoot clear. 15 with 15 is required from him now if he wants to end up in the top 50. Stefan Azambra, the first of the French, into the range, and their coaches will be watching eagerly to see whether he is going to be a future star for their team. 10:06, he's just a little bit slower than Dostal of the Czech Republic, who currently leads with a time of 10:55. It's going to take another 30 seconds or so for Azambra to go out, so if he shoots clear, which he hasn't done, he would have been just behind Dostal anyway. 2 misses already for Azambra. Now really, it's essential that all 5 go down in this prone position, and certainly in the early stage of the race where you're relatively fresh, there are no excuses, and we'll get a chance throughout the race to see what the wind conditions do, and any changes may account for poor shooting, but as far as we can see at the moment, they're unlikely to encounter better conditions than this throughout the season. Maluhin, the first of the Latvians, and certainly a man who has a chance of a top 10. Now, from the standard he's shown us over the last couple of weeks, he should certainly go clear on this shoot. Just one more remaining for Maluhin, and that's a good start from him. He missed 3 in the individual race in Pokluka. 1 on the first shot and 2 on the last. So a better start then for Maluhin. He finished in 25th on that day, just getting himself 1 World Cup point. But I think if he can shoot clear, a top 5 is possible. Tomasz Sikora of Poland, number 32. So we're about a third of the way through the field at the start, and Sikora is chasing the likes of Meguro of Japan and Egil Schelland, who started just a minute in front of him. Frank Luck of Germany is already out on course, and here's the first of the big names, although Dag Bjørndalen, who started at number 26, would contend with that. Dag is perhaps the slowest of the top 4 Norwegians, but he's very consistent in the range, and on his day, when he shoots clear, he ends in the top 5. So Dag Bjørndalen certainly has a chance. I don't see him as a winner here today, and in fact he hasn't won a race this season. And just checking his card, he hasn't even won a race in his career, so it would be a nice turn up for the books if he were to do so. Currently lying in 10th place, so perhaps the best of the top 10 not to have won a race. Watch out for Bjørndalen, started 26. His brother starting considerably later at number 72. Still has another 15 minutes or so before he goes out through the timing gate. Thomas Semva for Slovenia. He'll be in close competition with his teammate Janis Osbolt, who started 23, just 6 minutes ahead of him. He's unlikely to see him, but he may well hear something about his progress. 10 to 12 minutes on the 4-kilometer loop. Hopefully we'll get some indication of that. It's taken Mark Kirchner exactly 9:52, so that's a good ski by him. He's 10 seconds ahead of Dostal and Mjoln at this stage, and Mark Kirchner, if he shoots clear, may well take the lead away from Norway's Mjoln. 20 seconds to prepare, and Kirchner starts his race how he started so many this season. He missed 2 in the first shoot in Pokluka, and then he cleared, but 3 missed already, and Mark Kirchner's day has really started in the worst possible way. I wonder if we'll see him finish. I think continuation of his race is a lost cause. Very sad news indeed. 4 missed by Germany's Mark Kirchner, and Germany now look to the likes of Gross, Frank Luck and Svend Fischer to top the table. And no real surprise. He missed 4, as I said, in Pokluka in the individual. He missed 3 in the sprint race, and it's the shooting that's let him down. His ski form has come and gone, and it seemed that he was skiing well. He was 5 or 6 seconds quicker than the fastest so far, but Mark Kirchner losing it in the range. Reni Katerinusi. Now here's a man who's, well, an exciting biathlete to say the least. He's relatively quick over the snow, not the fastest by any means, but he's very quick in the range. And when he's on target, Reni Katerinusi can be world-beating. He missed 3 in Pokluka, and we'll have to improve on that, but we'll watch out for him. Just started at number 38. Behind him, Richard Noberius of Sweden. And the Swedes have yet to produce a man who's of the quality of Magdalena Forsberg, the leader of the Women's World Cup, and leader by a huge margin. 80 points clear of the nearest rival, Uschi Diesel, and already secured the World Cup with 2 races remaining, and it's been many a year since that's been achieved. Magdalena Forsberg with 6 wins already this season, and we'll check the record books to see whether that's been achieved before. Certainly in World Cup competition, I don't think it has, but we'll confirm that during the women's race, which starts at 1 o'clock Central European time this afternoon, and will be live on Eurosport this afternoon, so make sure you join us for that. Paavo Purinen, one of the 3 Finns who's come to the fore over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Vil Räikkönen is also running today for Finland, and Korikumpu, who starts at number 89, also looks as though he can be a big name for the future. But really, we hadn't seen a lot of the Finns until the Olympic Games, and ever since then, it's been a major success story. Erik Jensen, he's the best placed Canadian in the World Cup, right down in 61st place. But things may change. The Canadians delighted with the performance of one of the new women on the tour, Martine Elbert, who's had 3 World Cup winning runs in the last week. And if Albert can finish with another 2 good races, then she will certainly go home ranked as the best Canadian. That was Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen just getting his skis marked as Janez Osbolt of Slovenia settles for his first shoot. Now, surprisingly, some of the top names have already missed targets. But Janez Osbolt looking fairly calm and collected until that 4th one. The commentator's curse doing its job yet again. And Osbolt goes out. 1 minute added, and that puts him just out of touch of the top 6, certainly. And he's going to be around 10th position with only 23 athletes through this stage. So Hubert Leidgib exiting the range after his first shoot and taking a long time to get the sticks sorted out, and having a chat to the British coach, who was very surprised that people didn't concentrate on their range drills coming in, making sure the routine is the same, and then when they leave the range, so important that you pick the sticks up cleanly. If you get them in your hand, get the straps over the wrists quickly, it can save you 1 or 2 seconds. If you do that every time, it's between 6 and 8 seconds at the end of the race, and we've seen many races won and lost by smaller margins than that. and none more so than in Pokluka, the last of the individual races. Egil Sjælland missing out by 2.5 seconds, and his start number had as much to do with that as anything else. Now, Dag Bjørndalen showing us at the moment how it's done. 5 with 5. The last one was close, and you can tell just how well they hit the target. Dag Bjørndalen clipping the edge, but the fifth one goes down, and he's going to be just outside the leader, Hubert Leitgeb of Italy, but Dag Bjørndalen is in contention with the best at the moment. Fourth place for him. He's only 5.7 seconds off the lead, but a good start for the first of the big Norwegians. And if Ulе-Einar, his brother, can follow suit and hit 5 with 5, we'd expect to see him in the top 3. But a little question of form on Ulе-Einar Bjørndalen. He was very quick in the first race in Pokluka, but then just dropping off the pace a little. I wonder if he's fatiguing, and he'd have every reason to be doing so. A long season for him. He's raced in all the races, and he's been the fastest in over 95% of them, but just showing a few signs of tiring in the last couple of races. So we'll watch out for Ulе-Einar. He often depends on his ski speed to pull him through. Ryzhenkov is going to have to do so as well. 4 misses already, so 4 minutes added to his time, and Jason Sklena's name comes up on the scoreboard again. He's into 3rd place at the moment. Very early starter, remember, but has missed 2 on his first standing and 1 on his 2 on his first prone, I should say, and 1 on his first standing. So a total of 3 missed by Sklena, and that is too expensive for him. Frank Luck goes clear and takes the lead away from Italy's Leitgeb. So already the Germans are back at the top where they love to be, and have been on so many occasions. But it's the Norwegians who have 6 victories this year in individual races, the Germans with 5. In the relays, the Germans took the main title, a thrilling race in Nazawa Onsen, the Olympic venue, with Germany leading from start to finish, but the Norwegians, who had a desperate start, working their way up and ending up in 2nd place, just 6 seconds behind, having been over 2 minutes behind the Germans. So it was touch and go at the end, but Frank Luck himself holding his nerve on that last leg. So, chance for Norway to go back into the lead with Bard Mjoln. Mjoln, who missed 3 in Pokluka. Just snatched at that 3rd shot, and it's gone wide as a result. Just holding a little bit too long on each shot. The standing shoot, very important that you don't hold your breath for more than 3 or 4 seconds. And if you do so, the body just starts to cry out for oxygen, the limbs start to shake, and your aim obviously is affected. Mjoln misses 3, and that puts him well off the pace, 2 minutes 18 seconds behind the current leaders. Well, still a long way to go in this men's individual. 25 minutes or so into the race. And remember, it's going to take another 25 minutes to get all the starters underway. 104 competitors lined up. The last to go is Latvia's Gundas Upeniek, but of the last 4, 3 all have a chance of winning. We've got Halvard Hannavold going at 101. Jan Wustenfeld of Norway, he's got a point to prove, and he goes at 102. And then Patrick Father of Italy, always a potential winner if he shoots well. He goes at 103. But at stake in today's race, as perhaps the French favourite starts, Рафаэль Пуаре, we've obviously got the title today and a cheque for 3,000 Deutschmarks, £1,000 roughly. And of course, the overall World Cup still to be decided. Gros and Bjørndalen are just 10 points apart at the top of the table, with the Norwegian the slight advantage. But it's essential that Bjørndalen stays ahead of Rikko Gros if he wants to go home with the crystal globe at the end of the season. Also, the individual World Cup is at stake, and once again, Rikko Gros tops that table. But he also knows that if he's beaten by Norway's Halvard Hannavold today, he will get the second prize in that. So Rikko Gros, perhaps as he starts, knows that this is the most important race of his career to date. Wearing the red bib, indicating that he's leading the table in the individual World Cup. And I think we'll see a major charge from him, and this sort of course is to his liking. So Rikko Gros, to me, has to be one of the favourites, but with so much pressure on him, who knows what might happen. Plenty of German fans have come across the border into Austria to support their heroes, and really is the major sport, the major winter sport in the southern part of Germany. Cateranussi, an expensive mistake by him. 11-17, he would have been 10-17 and would have been up with the leaders had he not missed that shot. But that's a big if, and he has, and he's now got a ski to make up for it. 1 minute then added for each missed target, and you can see that that's pushed him from a potential third place right down into 17th. Ilmar Brikis, for me, the best of the Latvians over recent weeks, currently lying 15th in the World Cup, and he's a real threat if he shoots clear. There's no doubt about that. This is his best season ever, and I think certainly at his age there are one or two more seasons to come, and he knows it. He rushed the preparation, resettles sensibly, and rushed that fifth one as well. So a disastrous start for British of Latvia, and absolutely no excuse for that. The entry into the range here in Hofjellsen is not the hardest, and the conditions are reasonable. The snow is certainly faster than it was in Pakluka, and considerably faster than it was in Japan. And Pakluka, we saw 9 clear rounds out of the field. In Japan, we only saw 1. That was achieved by Pier Alberto Carrara of Italy, and hence he went home with the silver medal, only 5 seconds off the gold. That was taken, of course, by Halvard Hannavold of Norway, and Hannavold starting at 101 today, and has a very good chance of making it 3 wins this season. Only 4 men have won 2 races so far this year. Halvard Hannavold, one of them. Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen, another. Frank Luck of Germany, he won the first, and he won again in Pakluka to make it his second. And then Vladimir Dračev of Russia, who hadn't won for 2 seasons. Last week went and won 2 in a row. So maybe he's going for the hat-trick today. Dračev was looking for his start number, is number 58. So he will have gone out of the gate very recently indeed. And he's amongst some good company. Rikko Gros is 30 seconds in front of him. Wolfgang Perner of Austria is 30 seconds behind him. So Dračev has 1 or 2 big names to challenge, and there's going to be a major battle on. We've got Рафаэль Пуаре starting at 55, Kyoji Suga, the best of the Japanese. He starts at number 56, Rikko Gros 57, and Vladimir Dračev 58. So when they start to come into the range in 5 minutes time or so, it's going to be very tight. Svend Fischer's name up on the table, but I can assure you it's not Svend Fischer. This is Tach of Italy, lesser known of their team members. Svend Fischer will be in around 40 seconds or so. He started a full minute behind Tach, but we'd expect Sven to have gained 10 to 15 seconds over the first 4 kilometers. And in fact, there he is, just settling down as Tak heads out with one penalty to his name and 11 minutes 30 or so on the clock. Now, this is very important indeed. Just time to tell you that Mike Dixon has been through the range, having started 3 minutes in front of Alexei Eiderov and 2 minutes in front of Fischer, but no news on his performance. If we hear it, I'll pass it over. One miss from Fischer, which is expensive, but on his current ski form, he can cope with that. He can probably afford to miss 2 and still work his way up into the top 5. So 1 miss for Fischer on his first shoot, and that's encouraging news for the likes of Рафаэль Пуаре and Rikko Gross, who are all starting behind him. 41 seconds he's down, so you can see that Svend Fischer has gained 20 seconds over the first 4 kilometers. He's got 5 times round that loop, so he could make back just about 2 minutes on the current leaders. But there's no doubt that some of the big names starting after Svend Fischer will be skiing at the same sort of speed. Most noticeably, Рафаэль Пуаре started 55, and so will be in 2 or 3 minutes. And Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen, starting at number 72, still has another 10 minutes or so before his first shoot. Alexei Kovalev, 3 with 3. This is better. Surprising to see so many missing at this stage. Frank Luck's time of 10:33 is going to stay at the top of the table, but Alexei Kovalev is in there with a chance. A nice, fast, clear shoot for him, and he will certainly move ahead of Svend Fischer, who started 30 seconds in front, and the time just 8 seconds off the pace of Luck, and a nice, comfortable start by Alexei Kovalev as Dag Bjørndalen comes in for his second shoot. Clear at the moment, always misses out that middle target and comes back to it. And the routine working for one of Norway's best. 2 clear shoots, encouraging start for him. 22:35 the leading time. Dag Bjørndalen is going to be well inside that, but he's still waiting for Frank Luck to come through, who started a minute and a half after him. Frank Luck still leading after the first shoot, but Dag Bjørndalen of Norway going ahead after the second. Well, it's picture postcard stuff here in Hocfjellsen, and the recent dump of snow very welcome indeed. And hopefully that will extend both the cross-country and the alpine downhill skiing season for another 2 or 3 weeks. Rotman going clear, 10:28 the time at the moment. He's not going to challenge either Frank Luck or the new leader, Graf. And Italy's Lightgibbs still in 3rd place. He'll stay there for a minute or 2. And you can see just how tightly packed it is. Only 15 seconds separating the top 10 after the first shoot. That's with 4 kilometers and 1 shoot completed. Now, if you multiply that by 5, you get the top 10 separated by just over a minute. And that, of course, is the cost of 1 missed shot. So in days gone by, a shot used to cost you 2 or 3 places, but now with so many skiing at the top level, 1 shot costs you up to 10, 15 places. Egil Kielland, 1 expensive miss on his first prone shoot, knows that he has to shoot clear if he wants to challenge for a podium place. Remember, 2nd place, the best of his career last week in Pokluka in the individual race. So Kielland goes 9 with 10. He cleared up in Pokluka when he got 2nd, so he's got a lot of skiing to do if he wants to repeat that performance. But it's always nice when the 5 standing go down. .120 down off the leaders, and remember it's Norway's Dag Bjørndalen who is leading after that 2nd shoot. So already Maluhin of Latvia in for his third shoot, and we've still got one or two athletes to go out of the starting block. Another 10 minutes precisely before Jan Vustenfeld and Patrick Father go through the timing gate at the start, and Maluhin, his race is almost done. He's got one more shoot after this. So that's 14 out of 15 so far, and another good performance by him. And Maluhin takes an easy lead. He's 125 clear of Dostal. That's Rikko Gross just going out, one missed target. That's not good news for the German camp. It's 11-17 at the moment. He's going to be outside the top 30 after that first shoot, but remember how tightly packed it is. But more significantly, 55 seconds. Rikko Gross has only pulled back 5 seconds on his ski time, and this is not looking good for the man who is challenging for both the World Cup overall and, of course, the individual World Cup. So Rikko now can't afford another missed shot in his next 15, but Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen will no doubt get that news fairly soon, and that will calm his nerves a little bit. As Wilfried Perner comes in for his first shoot, Vladimir Dračev now leading, the man who won the last two World Cup races. The sprint, the second sprint held in Pokluka, and he stayed at the front of the field all the way through the pursuit race and made it 2 in a row. So at the moment, Dračev of Russia is looking good for 3 in a row, but he's 30 seconds clear of his nearest rival, Рафаэль Пуаре of France, but still 3 shoots to go. And Dračev's performance in the range this year has been far from convincing, but he's only missed 6 shots in the last 30. And if he can improve on that record, he's certainly got a chance of making it the hat-trick. Still looking for news after that second shoot, and waiting to see whether Frank Luck has managed to maintain the lead he had after his first shoot. And there you go, Luck is clear as well. Bjåndalen, Dag Bjåndalen that is, in second place, 22.16. So 19 seconds between first and second after 2 shoots, with Reni Caterunussi of Italy in third place, just 1 target missed. And well, that's sad for Neuner. 23.30. He wasn't going to contend with the leaders, just a little behind their time, but he certainly would have been in the top 4. But Neuner now finds himself down around 13th, 14th position. He gets 12th, in fact, goes just ahead of Peltola of Finland, and behind Dan Westover of the United States. So more encouraging news for the North Americans. Westover is going well, and they'll obviously be looking to the likes of Jay Häkkinen, who's, well, at junior level anyway, he was top of the world, but has yet to prove himself at this level. Häkkinen, incidentally, starting at number 69, so he's well into his race and will be coming in for his first shoot very shortly. Vitek of the Czech Republic just starting. After him is going to be Carsten Heyman of Germany. That's the last of the Germans to get away, and plenty of them out on the field today. Remember that the top 3 nations from the previous World Cup are entitled to put more athletes into the event than other teams, so that's why we see so many Germans, Norwegians and Russians out on the field. And really it makes it very difficult for the other nations to contend in the Nations Cup. Carsten Heyman just starting on the inset as Ludwig Gredler. Now, oh, what a shame. 4 out of 5. Gredler, who I'd tipped for an outsider today, has made one very expensive mistake in the early stages. Svend Fischer's name right down in 29th. He's going to stay ahead of Gredler, as is Rikko Gross, who is in 30 at the moment. Reni Catrinucci in 31, but remember, Catrinucci is back in business, still in the top 4 after that second shoot. So, one shot, one mistake on the first shoot, provided you shoot clear for the rest of the race, isn't going to be too expensive, but it's always nice to start with a clear shoot. Confidence takes a bit of a knock when you see a target missed, especially when it's the 5th one. So Drachev still heading the table after the first shoot. Рафаэль Пуаре of France looking for another podium finish. He's in 2nd place, but 30 seconds behind. That's a huge margin. Drachev absolutely flying, and at that rate, he can afford to miss 2 targets and still hold the lead. Ulе-Éinar Bjårndalen started number 72. He hasn't been through for the first time. Hence, don't expect to see his name on the leaderboard after the first shoot. That is yet to come, 2 or 3 minutes before the World Cup leader comes into the range for the first time. Dan Westover down in 21st. That's after the first shoot, but a clear shoot on the second one will pull him back up into the top 15. But he's really looking to get a top 25 place today, get himself some World Cup points. Always nice to finish the season, and essential to get your name on the World Cup map. One more missed shot from Svend Fischer, so that's a total of 2 added to his time, and the speed that Vladimir Drachev is skiing, that is not going to be good enough for a victory for Svend Fischer. But all the same, it's been a good 10 days for Sven. Pulled himself up into 3rd position in the World Cup. He's unlikely to threaten the top 2. So Fischer goes out as Ulе-Éinar Bjårndalen comes in for his first shoot. This is a big moment for the young Norwegian. Just 24 years of age, from Simostranda. He's the younger of the 2 brothers, and very much the quicker skier. And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to watch his technique during the day, taking his time to settle, a full 20 seconds, and that's been a main feature of his competition over the last couple of weeks. He knows that he skis fast enough to win, but he's also giving himself 10 or 15 seconds extra to settle. But there's his first missed target, and Bjårndalen misses one. The time of 10:59 is going to see him around Rikko Gross and Svend Fischer. So no splitting the top 2 in the World Cup. 11:08 at the moment, and he's going to be just ahead of Rikko Gross, who also missed one after that first shoot. So Bjårndalen had a real opportunity to give himself a bit of a cushion. He's failed to do so, and must now ensure that he shoots clear in both his 2nd and 3rd shoots. But maybe he's just doing it to add to the tension. This is brother Dag just preparing for his 3rd shoot, still clear. Now he'll go to the far left and then clean up, hopefully, make it 15 out of 15, and that's great shooting by Dag Bjårndalen. That's what his brother needed. But today it's Dag who is on top, and that's how it was at the beginning of the season. He looked absolutely world-beating. 2nd place in the first race of the year, and at one stage right up the top of the World Cup table, currently in 10th place. But a win here today would make it 7 wins for Norway. It would be his first, and would certainly pull him up 1 or 2 places in the World Cup. 10th place, as I say, at the moment. Frank Look, another man who's clear, and he's skiing a little bit faster than Dag Bjorndalen, so if he can go clear, the lead may change already. And the way he's shooting, it looks as though that is almost a foregone conclusion. Brilliant shooting by Frank Look, so the lead is going to change again. He's got quite a healthy margin over Dag Bjorndalen of Norway. 33.37 the time. He's going to be at least 30 seconds ahead. And tremendous stuff by the German. In fact, he's going to be about 20 seconds ahead. Little miscalculation there. He's still got 10 meters or so and wasting 1 or 2 valuable seconds just readjusting the rifle. 25 seconds the margin between Frank Look and Dag Bjorndalen. It's all going to come down to that final shoot. Here's another man who can take the lead away from Frank Look. It's not Vladimir Dračev, Рафаэль Пуаре. They get it right on the second occasion. 21.09 the time at the moment, and the first missed shot for Рафаэль Pуаре. He's no longer going to challenge the leaders. Sashurin is also going well for Russia. We haven't seen a lot of him, but he's in second place after his second shoot. And Pуаре will get to see the price of 1 missed shot. Remember, he was in the top 3 after the first, just behind Vladimir Dračev. And he goes down into 4th place at the moment with the first 50 through, and still another 50 to come. So Pуаре needs to shoot 10 with 10. Dračev misses his first target, 21.15 the time, and in fact he's still going to be good enough to take the lead. He's skiing like the wind. Dračev is back to his best, and despite the fact that he's missed one, he's going to take the lead away from Frank Look, and he's still held on to 30-second margin. So he's taken a full minute off the German on the last 4 kilometers. That is quite amazing. And well, at that rate, he can afford to miss one on each shoot from now on in, and he'll still be challenging for the lead. Well, that's the Dračev of old, and we haven't seen that for 2 seasons or so. He threatened it in Pokluka. He won the last 2 World Cups, but that is quite unbelievable. 7 shots missed for Jason Sklenar of Great Britain, and at that level, that's 6 too many. So another disappointing run for him. He'll get 1 more chance in the sprint event, provided he's selected for that. Great Britain only allowed to put 3 competitors in each event. So there's the order after the second shoot. Dračev, who has 1 penalty, is still in the lead. So Perno's 100% record comes to an end, and you see him flicking down the order. Рафаэль Пуаре, Katrinusi still in the top 10. Roman Dostal of the Czech Republic in 9th place, and Latvia's Maluhin in 10th place. Finland still have someone in the top 20 with Peltola. We'll wait and see how Ville Räikkönen gets on. Räikkönen starting at number 68, so he's yet to come through for his second shoot. Katrinusi started at 38, his 3rd shoot completed, and seems to be having his problems in the prone position, which is unusual, and sometimes a sign that the zeroing was not perfect. The zeroing much more critical in the prone shoot. Of course, the target that much smaller, just over 4 centimeters across, whereas the standing shoot is closer to 12 centimeters. Mark Kirchner, disastrous start, picked up a little bit since then, and credit to him for keeping going. I just wonder what his orders were, whether he was just to ski the race, take it easy and improve the shooting, and try and increase his confidence as far as the shooting goes. He finishes with a clean shoot, but Poor prone shooting by Kirchner adds 5 minutes to his time, and his skiing level at the moment is well out of the top 20, and Kirchner will end up struggling for a top 40 place with that sort of performance. So if you've just joined us, I should tell you that Vladimir Dračёv is the man of the moment at the moment. Halfway through his race, he is leading. He's missed one shot, but he's still a minute clear. He's still 30 seconds clear of Germany's Frank Luck and a minute clear of Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen's brother Dag, who are the top three after the second shoot. Both Bjørndalen and Luck are through that third shoot now, as Stefan Hode of Germany comes in with a total of 8 missed shots, and so he may be getting the Pineapple Award for today's competition for the most inaccurate performance. Ludwig Gredler, though, well, he hit the first 4, and ever since then he's been struggling. So Gredler is not going to finish his individual competitions this season with a star performance. 3 targets missed, 24.55. He'll be around 25 minutes when he splits the time, and he's 3 minutes down off the pace with 3 targets missed. So he would have been up with the best 5 had he not done so, but the targets have been missed. There's nothing he can do about that now. Just 10 more targets for him to hit. If he clears that, he'll move himself nicely into the top 20, but not the best of starts for Austria's Gredler. Svend Fischer in 16th place after 2. Well, we're really watching out for the names of Rikko Gross, Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen and Halvard Hanevольd, who started at 101. They're the 3 men who are contending the titles here today. We've got the World Cup overall title at stake. That battle is between Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, who's number 72, and Rikko Gross, who started just in front of him at number 57. And they're, of course, yet to shoot for the second time. Ule-Éinar Bjørndalen missing one on his first prone shoot. And in fact, Rikko Gross should have been through his second shoot by now. Fairly sure I've seen Svend Fischer coming in for his third. Interesting to see spare rounds of ammunition carried on the weapon there, and that's in case you get a malfunction or in case you lose a round. And Sylvester Glimsdahl goes out, well, not the best of starts. He's very dependent on clear shooting. 121 down. You can see he's lost 20 seconds over 4 kilometers, so he's losing 5 seconds a kilometer. Multiply that by 20 and you get 1 minute 40 that Glimsdahl is likely to lose over the full distance of this race. And if you add any penalties to that, he's a long way down. Bjørndalen must go clear. This is fast. His standing shooting has been absolutely superb through the season, and he misses one again, and he grimaces. He knows that may be very expensive indeed. Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, 22.54. He's right off the pace, and Dračёv is skiing at a good 30 seconds per 4 kilometers quicker than Bjørndalen. That is surprising. 1:35 down off the pace. He's missed 2, and Bjørndalen is not at his best form. He really has started to tire over the last 10 days, and that is very worrying for the Norwegian fans. Perhaps the most important thing is that Ulе-Éinar finishes in front of Rikko Gross, but he'd also like to finish the season with a couple of good results. But not happening at the moment. 2 targets missed then by Norway's best. But no news as yet on Rikko Gross, who is in second place in the World Cup. Hopefully we'll pick up from him later. He will have gone through the range a good 5 minutes ahead of Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen, and in fact won't be far off coming in for his third shoot, the standing. Number 51 is Wolfgang Rotman, but I think behind him we have Jan Wustenfeld coming in for his first shoot. And Wustenfeld's been one of the new names in the German squad. Won a race in Kontiolahti early in the season, his first career win in his first season. So a brilliant start for him, but he failed to get the selectors' approval in all the races in the Olympic Games after a disappointing individual race there in Nazoa Onsen. But I think he's going to be a name of the future, so watch out for Wustenfeld. Dag Bjårndalen in the top right-hand side of the screen, 3 with 3 at the moment. This is his final shoot, remember, and he's clear after that first shoot. He missed one, in fact, he didn't miss any. It was his brother who missed one in the prone, and a great shooting performance by Dag Bjårndalen. And with so many missed shots by the top athletes, it may well see him back onto the podium where he started the season. So a great challenge by him. Dag Bjårndalen, who shot well in Pukluka, he missed 2. He's gone a lot better today. A clean sheet. 20 seconds is the difference between himself and Maluhin, who has missed 1. So Maluhin of Latvia has come out of nowhere to have the lead after that 4th shoot. He's skiing that little bit faster than Bjårndalen and should be able to hold on to that lead all the way into the finish. But well, the top 3 is possible for Dag Bjårndalen, but a top 5 is more likely. Frank Luuk matches him shot for shot. The second clear shoot we've seen today, and Frank Luuk is looking for his 3rd win of the season. 45.21 the time at the moment. He's going to be well inside Maluhin, and a great start and a great finish by the German. So 20 seconds is the difference. There's no doubt at all that Frank Luuk is going to be the new leader when he crosses the line in around 9.5 minutes. And that is Oleg Maluhin, the current leader. 1 target missed. 5.25 is the margin between himself and Rishenkov, and a blistering run by Latvia's Maluhin. 55.59. Remember, we're expecting the winning time to be around 53 to 54 minutes, and so I still think that time of Maluhin is going to be beaten, and Frank Luuk is certainly my favourite to do that in the early stages. Frank Luuk started at number 29, 19 places behind Maluhin, so he's got another 9 minutes or so in which to finish if he's going to take the lead away from the Latvian. Now, Rikko Grosс went clear on his second shoot, and 33.33, so he's already way down outside the time of Dračev, and he's also going to be outside Frank Luuk, even if he shoots clear. Well, no sign of the target, which is not ideal. But more importantly, we'll get to see his time. He's missed another one, 34.53. He's going to be around 35 minutes. And he's still in the top 10. Is he ahead of Ulе-Éinar Bjårndalen? Bjårndalen missed 1 on each of his first 2 shoots. He's yet to come in for that 3rd shoot. Dag Bjårndalen in 4th, Frank Luuk in 2nd. And there we see Rikko Grosss down in 9th place after his 3rd shoot with another target missed. So that lets Ule-Éinar Bjårndalen off the hook just a little. They've now both missed 2, but Rikko Grosss is 1 shoot ahead at the moment. So Ule-Éinar Bjårndalen must shoot clear on his 2nd prone if he's going to challenge the German. Remember, it's so important that the Norwegian finishes ahead. That's, of course, if you're a Norwegian fan, and equally important for Rikko Grosss to finish ahead if you're a German fan. And I can tell you that plenty of them have travelled south across the border to hear Hofhilsen to watch these World Cup finals, and the crowds will no doubt swell on Saturday and Sunday. The sprint event scheduled for Saturday, the men and women. The men start at 10 o'clock, and the women's start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, midday in the UK, and then the team event on the Sunday. That will be the final event of the season, and in fact the first team event of this year. Perner goes out. Another clear prone shoot, but 2 minutes added because of the missed shot on his standing. So Kirchner comes in. Let's see a check on the time difference. He's going to be way behind Maluhin, who is still the leader. And they haven't even bothered to stop the clock for the poor man. Mark Kirchner then, he's 10 minutes behind, and he missed 5 targets, so he's also 5 minutes off the skiing pace. So a disappointing run for him yet again. Will this be the last season that we see him out on the biathlon tracks? Carsten Heyman, a better start by him. 21:20 the time at the moment. Well, that's disappointing. Carsten Heyman missing his last, so just the concentration really is the problem there. But there's no doubt that shooting gets harder as you go through the 5 shots. The first 2, the blood's still fairly well oxygenated, and then each time you have to hold your breath, the need and the desire to breathe gets greater and greater, and the body certainly loses its stability. And so the 4th and 5th shot regarded as the 2 hardest, but the first shot is also missed on many an occasion due to poor body alignment. Reinhard Neuner of Austria, only 1 missed shot so far. And this is a better performance by him than in Pokluka, where he missed a total of 3 overall. If he goes clear again, he'll have a 2-minute advantage, and he finished 37th on that occasion. One more hit, and Neuner is going to have the individual race of his season. 37th he was in Pokluka, 34th in Östersund. Didn't compete in the individual event in the Olympics, but Neuner, with just 1 penalty added, is likely to find himself well up in the top 25 and his first World Cup points of the season. So a good finish by him, and that may well win him entry into the sprint event on Saturday as well. Ludwig Gredler, not the best of starts. 3 penalties already. He's already outside the top 30. See that Dan Westover of the United States still in the top 30 after 2. Haven't seen his progress after the 3rd and 4th shoot, but if we do so, we'll point it out. So a disappointing run for Gredler. As number 20, Konstantin Popov of Russia comes across for his finish. Just 1 target missed, 1:31 off the pace, and 2nd place. Maluhin still holding on to that. He's got a massive margin at the front. And remember that Maluhin got 1 penalty as well. And the likes of Dag Bjorndalen, who shot clear, unable to contend with that ski speed. And Bjorndalen should be in very shortly indeed. He started 3 minutes behind Popov of Russia, not to be confused with the Popov from Belarus, of course. But that's a good result by him, and the best we've seen from him this season. So possibly a top 10, almost certainly a top 15 finish for Popov. But he's going to move down a place or 2 when Dag Bjorndalen comes across the line in somewhat under 2 minutes. Svend Fischer, consistent shooting, but not the sort of consistency that he usually produces, and certainly not the consistency that he wants. One shot missed on each of the shoots so far. He must shoot clear to keep himself in contention. Remember that third place in the World Cup standings is at stake if he finishes outside the top 25. So two of the top names in the range at the moment. 4 with 4 so far from Fischer. And Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen in the top of the table, needing to do what his brother Dag did. So a clean sheet for the moment for Ule-Éinar, and this is better. He knows he's got to go clear if he's going to contend, and he's missed another one. Ule-Éinar Bjørndalen has now missed 3. He's missed 4. This is disastrous. He's 2 shots down on his main rival, Rikko Gross, and this is just the story that the Norwegians didn't want to hear. Ule-Éinar Bjørndalen has missed 4. Rikko Gross has missed 2. They've now both shot for the 3rd time, and if Rikko Gross can shoot clear on his final shoot, Ule-Éinar Bjørndalen is in real trouble. So there are the standings after the 3rd shoot. Dračev is a huge margin clear after missing 1 shot. Frank looks Sashurin, Bjørndalen, Рафаэль Pуаре. In fact, Рафаэль Pуаре missing 1, but the other 3 were clear. Noberius of Sweden gets his best position with a clear shoot, but he's still only managing 13th. And Glenn Rupertus of Canada right up in 12th place with 1 target missed. If he goes clear on his final shoot, that's going to be a PB for him this season as well. Ville Räikkönen of Finland down in 20th with 2 misses. Svend Fischer 3 misses down in 21st. And Ule-Éinar Bjørndalen has missed 4 and is down in 27th place. It's essential that he finishes in the World Cups, and he's got to finish in the top 25 to get points. So the pressure is on, as Norway's looks like Halvard Hannavold coming in for his shoot. In fact, it may well be Frode Andersen who's in for his 3rd shoot, and both wearing the headbands, so hopefully we'll get confirmation of that. And the very fact that we're not staying with Frode Andersen, who started at 76, may indicate that he's missed targets early on in the race and is not in the contest. And there's Frode Andersen just going out. Frank Luuk has just come across the line and takes 1st place. Leitgeb is in 3rd. Dag Bjørndalen must be in 4th, because he has finished ahead of Frank Luuk as far as, not as far as ski time goes, but he started before him and finished before him. So Maluhin, Luuk, Leitgeb and Bjørndalen are the top 3. And Frank Luuk, even with a clear shoot, failing to contend with the ski speed of Maluhin, and that is a very impressive performance by the Latvian. So the big names we're watching out for now. We've got Vladimir Dračev, who's been missing targets, but he's skiing absolutely tremendously, and has been taken an average of 30 seconds, not off the average skier, but off the next best skier on every loop. So Dračev, by rights, can afford to miss 2 targets in today's race, and he will still win. And if he does so, that will make it 3 in a row. And it's a long time since that's happened. Pier Alberto Carrara, 1 mistake, but we've seen a few people come back from mistakes. And if he can clear certainly this last shot and his last 5 standing, then Carrara could be in for another good result. 33.30 at the moment. He's a minute behind the leader, Dračev, but he's going to be on the same sort of time as Frank Luuk. And Pier Alberto Carrara is having a good run. That's Halvard Hannavold going out at 1:01. We didn't get to see his shot, but Hannavold skiing well and making up for the disappointment of Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen. Dag Bjørndalen has shot clear, skied relatively slowly, and finds himself in 4th place at the finish at the moment. Poiret, the lead time after the 4th shoot. Dračev is still to go through that point. Björndalen down in 7th, Catrinucci in 9th, and Rikko Gross has done just what the German coach ordered, and there is little doubt that he got the information he needed. He knew that Björndalen had missed 2 on his last shoot. He has an advantage of 2 shots, and the way that Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen is skiing, I can't see him coming back from here. So Rikko Gross almost certainly going to go ahead in this race, and the more places he finishes above Ule-Éinar Bjårdalen, the better. Remember, there is only 10 points between them on the World Cup table. But it does get complicated at this time of the season. Only the best 4 of the 5 individual races will count. And Rikko Gross already has 3 good results. The worst he has is 9 points from the first individual race in Östersund. And so he needs to score more than 9 to boost his World Cup tally. Ulе-Éinar Bjårdalen needs to score more than 5. Rennie Catrinucci, 2 targets missed. The time 56, nearly 57 minutes is good enough for 3rd. Comes in just behind Frank Luuk and pushes Leitgeb Bjørndalen down another place. And for the moment, Rennie Catrinucci is on the podium positions. Well, it must be about time for Vladimir Dračev to come in for his final shoot. He started 58 with Perna. In fact, he will have gone through. There's little doubt that Vladimir Dračev will have gone through. So what we've got to watch out for is the positions after this 4th shoot. We're not going to see Dračev's final shoot, but when Perna comes across, maybe we'll flick through the top positions after that 4th shoot. And unless Dračev has missed a handful of targets, he should be in the top position and certainly in the top 3. Remember, he had a huge lead after his 3rd shoot, but it's not going to happen. We're going to have to wait again for the next man to come in for that 4th shoot. Carsten Heyman, 5 hits in both the prone positions, just 1 standing missing as he starts, in fact, his 2nd prone. 34 minutes the time. Remember, this is his 3rd shoot. The information on the left is wrong. You can ignore that. It's from the wrong shoot. And 1 more target miss, so 2 minutes added to Heyman, and he's not going to contend with the top 10. Tord Viksten of Sweden going through just ahead of Carsten Heyman. So Heyman has made up a minute and a half on the skiing time, but he's lost 2 minutes on the shooting. So the 2 fairly level at the moment, and you can see the difference in ski speed. Well, proceedings will go just a little bit flat while we wait for the late starters. We've had really no news of the likes of Hannavold, Vustenfeld and Farber, 3 of the last starters, as Neuner comes in with 2 minutes 59 off the leaders, top 10 at the moment. World Cup points almost guaranteed for Neuner. Those will be his 1st of the season, so a good run by the Austrian. So Neuner has a look at the scoreboard to see how he's done. He'll see himself in 10th position, but starting from his start number, he knows there are still 1 or 2 big guns behind him, and that 10th position is unlikely to hold, but still it's an impressive result by his standards, and 1 more step up that World Cup ladder. Ludwig Gredler, who's not had the best of stories. We really are waiting to find out what happened to Vladimir Dračev, and we're not going to see it on this occasion, as Gredler is too far behind for us to see the leaders. Aidarov of Belarusia missing a total of 4. Shabloz of Switzerland missing 5. He's had such a good season, it's surprising to see him making that many errors. Dan Jensen of Canada. Mike Dixon in 43rd position, he's missed 4. That's 3 more than normal for Mike Dixon, so a disappointing shoot, and he'll find himself going down the order. But to be in 43rd after 4 misses is an indication that his skiing is still at his best level. But to get into the top 25, Mike Dixon knows that he has to shoot clear, and it hasn't happened today. He'll have one more chance, and I wonder whether we'll see him racing again. It may well be his last season. A veteran of 5 Olympics, he's had a tremendous career and been a great ambassador for the British team over the years. Svend Fischer coming in to finish, 3 penalties, and it puts him down into 7th. So he's made a good comeback, 2:13 behind. He's managed to claw back 47 seconds on the ski time, and Svend Fischer in 7th place after 3 misses. But that's good news for his World Cup. Remember, he's in 3rd place at the moment, and he's no chance of taking 1st or 2nd, but he has to fight off those challengers coming up behind him. The likes of Anderson, Hannavold, Рафаэль Пуаре, Frank Look, who may well end up in the top 4 today, all challenging for 3rd. Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen with a very important shoot indeed. He's got to go clear. 5 with 5 is the only result that will keep him in the race. Has to finish in the World Cup points. Now, this last shot, he missed it last time, but he goes 5 with 5. At last, he's managed to clear up. Ule-Éinar Bjåndalen of Norway, 4 misses, 47.37 the time. He's going to be just behind Svend Fischer. Remember, Fischer came through to finish in 7th place, and this is where Ule-Éinar Bjåndalen can pull something back. It's very important, but the very fact that he's got so much phlegm on his face would indicate to me that his health is far from perfect. So I don't think we're going to see the best skiing from Bjåndalen. On his best form, he could pull back 30 seconds with relatively little ease. Vladimir Dračev still in 1st place after the 3rd shoot, and the margin is over a minute. So we're still waiting, and it's been a long wait to see what's happened after his 4th shoot. Viktor Майгуров going out with 3 clear shoots, but he's still 1 minute 36 behind in 4th place. And Майгуров, a man who would love to and needs to finish the season well. 3rd place in Pokluka in the first of the sprint events there. And if I'm not mistaken, here comes Vladimir Dračev. What's the time? His last standing shoot is clear, and there's no need. We're going to have a new leader here in Hofjellsen, and the margin is going to be huge. 52.55 at the moment. He's going to be just over 53 minutes, and he's going to be over 2 minutes clear of the next best. A tremendous ski by Vladimir Dračev, 2.57 the margin, the biggest of the season so far, and the Russian is undoubtedly going to make it 3 in a row. So the hat trick for Dračev, despite the fact that there are still another 44 finishers yet to come across the line. I'll lay my neck down and put my money on the fact that no one will match that time of 53 minutes 02. So he looks as though he's just been out for a Sunday stroll, and well, appropriately he kisses the skis, and the significance there is that he's as aware as anyone else that if you don't get the right skis and the right wax, you don't win. And Dračev on his Fishers has produced something very special indeed. 2 minutes 57 is the margin he has over Maluhin, but Sashurin has shot clear. He still can't beat In fact, he's a long way down. His skiing time is slow, but he's got a clear chute, and we haven't seen so many clear. With Björndalen, Dag Björndalen clear, Frank Luck clear, and Sashurin clear, but none of them are in the top two. Maluhin missed one and is in second place. Vladimir Dračev missed one and is 2 minutes 57 ahead of him. But Sashurin into fourth at the moment. Рафаэль Пуаре, he misses one and goes into fifth place, just ahead of Catranucci of Italy. There are the top six at the moment. Dračev, Maluhin, and Luck, the top three. That order may change, but I don't think the name at the top of the list will. Sashurin ahead of Poiré. So Poiré, another good result. He'll get himself at least 17, 18 World Cup points for that performance. And his challenge for that third spot continues. Remember, it's Svend Fischer in third at the moment. Now, this is a big story unfolding here. Halvard Hannavold, 32.59. He's behind the time of Dračev, but he's well ahead of Pierre Alberto Carrara, provided he can clear this last shot. 33.42 is the time he's got to beat, and he does so. So Halvard Hannavold has shot clear. Remember, Carrara is skiing quicker. He's missed one already at this stage, but Halvard Hannavold started 101. He is going to go into second place after that third shoot, and that is a tremendous run by him. The Olympic champion in the individual race is back to his best form. He's had 2 victories in the individual races this season. He's not going to make it 3, but he may well finish in second place. So also starting late, we have Patrick Farver, who started 103, 30 a minute behind Halvard Hannavold. So his time is quick as well, but he's missed targets, and that's his first clear shoot. 3 minutes added to his time. It would have been 33 dead, and in fact Patrick Farver is about the only man on the course today who is contending with the ski time of Vladimir Dračev. So another clear shoot will see Farver well up the list. 3 minutes added, take 3 off that, you get 33.15. He's faster than Hannavold would have been, but he's outside the top 25 at the moment. But if he shoots clear again, Farver should find himself some World Cup points. No sign of Jan Vustenfeld of Germany, and his name hasn't been flashed over the leaderboard, so we can only assume that he has been missing targets again. Perna comes across, 4:38 down off the leader's time, just behind Popov, and that's Popov from Russia, not Popov from Belarus. So again, this race is going to run to the wire, as it did in the Olympics. If you were with us during those championships, and just as we said, Vustenfeld comes in, but he's lost a lot of ski time already. 2 minutes added. He's 36.49 outside the top 40, and Jan Vustenfeld, his season falling apart, sadly. I've been willing him to put in a few good results. It's always nice to see the youngsters challenge the established names, and Germany have so many of those with Luck, Gross, Sendel, Fischer, Mark Kirchner of old, but his demise has continued again today. A disappointing start for Kirchner, who missed 4 on his first prone shoot and never really came back into the race after that. So Kirchner, there you see his name down in 62nd position, but he's going to be up on the performance of Jan Vustenfeld, who finds himself in 63rd. So still one more shoot remaining for another 19 biathletes. 85 is Karsten Heyman, who's Another of the German who's desperately trying to work his way up into the A team and get himself a regular place in the relay team. He's in the top 30 in the World Cup, and he still struggles to make the German squad for the relay and the team events, and that is only an indication of the strength that the Germans have. Norway have much the same problem. They have 5 or 6 who could make the team, but it's nice to see them giving an opportunity to the likes of Kjetil Sæter and Bard Mjoln, who both got a start today, albeit in the first group. They've got some more experience of the World Cup action, and that can only be a good thing. Heyman goes away with 3 targets missed. 48 minutes is the time after his 4 shoots, but skiing pretty well. To find himself in the top 25 with 3 missed targets is good at this level. But high quality shooting hasn't really been the name of the game today. We've seen the likes of Frank Luuk, Dag Bjørndalen shooting clear, and Sashurin also going well for Russia, skiing slowly but shooting clear, and he finds himself in the top 6 at the moment. But it's this man in picture, Vladimir Dračev, who really is on tremendous form, and the reason he's looking so happy is because he's just about wrapped up his 3rd successive win. And when you think that no man has, well, after the first 10 races of this season, no man had won 2, but now with 17 races almost completed, Vladimir Dračev almost certain of making it 3 in a row. So Jensen of Canada is pushed down into 46th place at the moment, 6 misses, so he started well but went off the boil later on. Mike Dixon still up in 48th as Ludwig Gredler of Austria comes across the line, started number 65 and he finishes 48th position, pushes Mike Dixon down to 49. And looks as though Mike's not going to get a top 50 finish today. But this is important stuff. Now, has Ulе-Einar Bjørndalen found something in the tank over the last 4 kilometers? Remember, he missed 4 in the first 3 shoots. He went clear on that final shoot and brought himself back into contention. Fischer's time of 58.13 is just going to be beaten. He gets 12th place with 4 misses, but Bjørndalen is, well, certainly not his best run of the day, and he must wait and see how many places behind Rikko Grosс he finishes to see how many points he loses. 12th place at the moment, and just having a look to see how many points that will give him on the World Cup. He'll get 14 for that, and to increase his World Cup tally he has to score more than 5, so he's doing all right on that count at the moment, but must hope that not too many come in ahead of him from now on. Well, he was 15th, 16th after the 4th shoot and worked his way up to 12th. So Ulе-Einar pulling back 4 places, and Sylvest Glimsdal is not going to upset the apple cart in the Norwegian camp too much, because he's unlikely to be able to match Ulе-Einar's ski speed over the last 4 kilometers. 5 minutes down, 3 targets missed. He's lost 2 minutes on the skiing. Well, that's a basic calculation. Of course, some of them taking 5 to 10 seconds longer each time they shoot. And when you multiply that by 4, you can lose at least 45 seconds to a minute on your shooting drills. Viktor Майгуров, 0-0-0. It's perfect so far. 44.57 his time. He's already well down off Drachev's time, but he's in contention with Frank Luuk. If he can hit these last 2, it's going to be very tight, and Майгуров might well make it 1 and 2 on the podium. 45.10. He's got another 19 seconds to clear the range and challenge that time of Frank Luuk. No penalties whatsoever. He's equal Frank Luuk with the shooting, and he's not so far off his time on the skiing. Very tight indeed. Just 4 seconds now between the 2, and Майгуров goes into the front. He's 4.1 seconds ahead of Frank Luuk, and it looks as though it may well be 1 and 2 for Russia on the podium for the first time this year. Dračev won't be too worried by that. He knows he's still a minute clear, and there's no man out there who can take 5 or 6 seconds off Dračev over 4 kilometers, let alone a full minute. Well, the attention switching to, we think, today's winner, Vladimir Dračev of Russia. But certainly the second and third positions have yet to be decided. Muslimov on his day may well have been able to do something about it. Not so today. There's Rikko Grosс in 10th place. Now, if Muslimov comes in between Rikko Grosс and Ulе-Éinar Bьёрндален, that is going to be another point between them. Rikko Grosss in 10th at the moment. That's going to give him 16 points, and he needs to score more than 9 if he's to increase his World Cup tally. So at the moment, he's going to score about the same as Bjorndalen, so I don't think there's going to be too much of a change in the situation in the World Cup tally after today's race, but the calculations are complicated, and we still have 1 or 2 biathletes out there who could change the order of the top 10. For one, we have Russia's Viktor Майгуров, who is 8 minutes or so away from finishing, and for 2 we have Halvard Hanevольd of Norway, who is also going well. He's clear after 3 shoots. But the next Russian to finish is going to make a big difference to the top 3. There's little doubt about that. I think we're going to find Russia 1 and 2. Dag Bjorndalen, that is in 8th place at the moment after his clear shoot. You can identify between the 2 brothers because of the number of targets missed. But that's the finishing order, but it's likely to change. Maluhin of Latvia has had a storming run in 2nd place at the moment, and that is a career best for him if he stays there. I think a podium finish is possible, but if Hannavold goes clear on his last shoot, then there's a chance that Maluhin of Latvia will be pushed down into 4th. And this is Hannavold now. 3 clear shoots. No, he's just got to take the time. He's probably got the best mind in the game. He's capable of blocking himself off from the situation. He just goes through the drills as he does in training, and 5 with 5 from Hannavold, 44.52. That's tremendous, and there's little doubt that Hannavold is now going to threaten the time of Майгуров. Драчёв is safe with a time of 42.56. He's nearly 2.5 minutes behind Dračev. In fact, he's just 2.09 behind Dračev, and he goes into 2nd place. Майгуров pushed down to 3rd, and for the first time, Maluhin of Latvia is pushed off the podium positions. So another 10 minutes or so, maybe 9.5, the speed that Hannavold is skiing before he finishes. But maybe the top 3 have at last been decided. Patrick Farver, he started badly. He picked up on his second prone shoot, but things not going well for him on the final stages. 5 penalties for Farver. He's well over 7 minutes behind, so he's lost 2 minutes on the ski speed to Dračev. Would have been in the top 3 if he'd gone clear. But it hasn't happened today. It will, no doubt, on another occasion. But Farver is going to find himself down outside the World Cup points. 42nd place. He's got to make up 2 minutes if he wants to get into the World Cup points. It's not going to happen. So the Italian will probably just cruise into the finish. So that is just about the last of the contending athletes through. We've still got Jan Vustenfeld to shoot for a second time as Jan Zimmerman comes in for his fourth and final shoot. A little surprising to see him so far down. The Zimyanin brothers have certainly come to our notice over the last 6 weeks or so. 25th place for Jan in the Olympic sprint. 14th in Kontiolahti in the sprint event there was his personal best for the season. But Bakluka, it all started to go wrong. 71st and 77th position, and it looks as though he's going to be around the same marker. Mark G of Great Britain, 7 targets missed. So all the Brits having problems with the rifle. Jason Sklenar missed 6, Mike Dixon 4, and Mark G has missed 7, and that's put him right out of contention. 53.25. By that time, Vladimir Dračev had finished. So Mark G is going to find himself 8 or 9 minutes behind, with just one individual race remaining, the sprint event on Saturday, with which to finish his season. So we'll hope he goes clear in that, and he's well capable of getting in the top 40 if he does so. Carsten Heyman, 3 targets missed. We already know that a top 25 is going to be difficult, but he's pulled back a little time over the closing stages. 58.50 at the moment. To get the top 25, he's got to be under 59.15, so it looks as though he's done some good damage on the closing stages. Heyman goes into 20th despite the 3 misses, and that proves that his skiing form is coming good right at the end of the season, and maybe he'll win himself a place in the team event for Sunday. There'll probably be 1 or 2 very tired German athletes who don't want to contend, but the team events, it's the first one of the year, and all 4 team members ski together, and 2 of them shoot on each of the visits to the range. They only have 20 targets, 10 the first shoot and 10 the second. Jan Wustenfeld, 2 more misses, and his face says it all. A total of 5, and with his current ski form, Jan Wustenfeld is going to find himself right down out of the 70s. And it's hard to believe that this man, at the beginning of the season, won his first World Cup. In Kontiolahti, a tremendous performance in the sprint event, and then he finished in 3rd in the pursuit race the following day. But that was when we thought he was going to be the big name for the season. Hasn't really happened since. Maybe training and being pushed a little bit too hard, and it's all taken its toll. So he'll be looking forward to a couple of months rest. The last race of the season on Sunday. Maybe they return for a couple of local races at home, but it won't be long before they put their feet up. 4 or 5 weeks of relatively easy activity, and then back into the training. Visit to the glaciers, some roller skiing, some roller ski biathlons, which a lot of them take place in Ruhpolding and Antholz, and also they hold some in the United Kingdom. Aviemore hosting a summer biathlon event. Flick through the finishing orders. Viel Räikkönen, top 20 again. Glenn Rupertus of Canada, 19th, and Japan getting 1 in the top 20 with Meguro. 3 targets missed. The day will come when he doesn't miss any and he makes the top 10. Well, also some big names outside the top. 25th, Sergei Rozhkov. At the moment, he is the last man to win World Cup points, but Halvard Hannavold has yet to finish, and as we mention his name, his teammate is approaching, Sylvester Glimsdahl. 58 minutes the time, a top 15 finish, and I think he's gone in just behind Ole-Einar Bjåndalen. He has, but he's pulled up well, so Glimsdahl has had a storming last 4 kilometers, and he finishes with a time of 58.02, just 3 seconds behind Ole-Einar Bjåndalen. And he would not have been thanked if he'd taken another 3 seconds off his time and denied Bjåndalen that extra World Cup point. So the top 3 have yet to be confirmed. We know that Vladimir Dračev is going to be the winner here in Hogfilsen. And there you see his time of 53.02. Already Viktor Майгуров is outside, but Майгуров has a chance of going into seconds. Maluhin had a really good finish to finish in 59.59, and 30 seconds exactly now for Майгуров to enter the stadium, cross the finishing line if he wants to beat the Latvian. The Latvian knows that this is his only chance of a podium finish this season, is if Майгуров has failed to match his time. 10 seconds now, just over, for Майгуров to finish and take it away from Maluhin, but Maluhin knows that Halvard Hannavold is also out on the course. He's going to be denied by the smallest of margins, 3 seconds, the difference between the two. Майгуров goes into second to make it Russia 1 and 2. Maluhin pushed down for the moment into third, and there'll be a huge wave of disappointment going through the Latvian camp, because they know that Norway have one man out there who is likely to finish in the top three. That's Halvard Hannavold. He started at 101 of the 104 starters, and he's shot clear yet again. So the Olympic champion is not going to win today, but a second place is there for the taking. And significantly, that means that Halvard Hannavold, with 2 wins and a second place, is going to take the individual title for the 98 season. Rikko Gross, who was leading before today's event, has 4 scoring events already, and will only gain another 3 or 4 points. Halvard Hannavold, on the other hand, has 2 wins and likely second place today, and a 9th place in the last event held in Pokluka. So consistency has been the name of the game for Hannavold. Those are the standings at the moment, but remember, Hannavold is still out there on the tracks and looking to finish in second place. Dračev first, Майгуров at the moment second, Maluhin third, Frank Luck in fourth after shooting perfectly, and he finished with a time 2:58 behind that of Vladimir Dračev. Dag Bjørndalen in 9th place, also shooting clear. Pier Alberto Carrara, 3 penalties and finishing in 11th. If he'd shot clear, he would have been in second. Popov in 12th. Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen just behind him. Ilmar Brikis of Latvia in 17th place despite 3 misses. He started very badly indeed, but pulled himself back and wins himself some more World Cup points. At the moment, it's Neuner of Austria who has that last point, but he's likely to be pushed down into 26th place and will go home with nothing. Well, disappointing day by all accounts for Rikko Gross. He's going to have lost the individual title for the season because of Hannavold's perfect performance. And he's also going to find, although he's come in ahead of Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, he's not going to have closed the gap much, if by anything at all. At the moment, Rikko Gross will gain 15 points and lose 9, because that score will be taken off his sheet. And so a gain of 6 for Rikko Gross. And Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen at the moment will gain 10 and lose 5. So he'll have a gain of 5. So the gap may be closed to about 9, but it still leaves the Norwegian with the advantage with 1 to go. Halvard Hannavold coming across the line, 55.18.5 is his time. Second place for the Norwegian, and a cheer because he has now taken the individual title for the season. A great race by him. He started solo down the field, as he did in the Olympic Games. He held his nerve all the way through. No targets missed on this occasion, but he's still 2 minutes 15 behind the winner. And in fact, with Drachev's penalty, it means that Dračev has taken 3 minutes 15 off one of the strongest skiers in the world over the 20 kilometers. Quite a phenomenal ski by the Russian, and we now have to question whether he'll make it 4 in a row on Saturday in the sprint event. At that speed, he can afford to miss 2 targets and still come home with a victory. Hannavold then in second place, pushes Майгуров down into third, and poor Maluhin from Latvia, after being at the top of the table for so long, ends up in 4th place, just 4 seconds off that much wanted podium finish. It would have been his first ever, but still a 4th position for him is commendable and a great way to finish his season. Frank Look in 5th, Sasha in 6th, Poiret in 7th, Rikko Gross in 8th point, so 18 points for him, 9 taken away, so a gain of 9 for Rikko Gross on the World Cup table. Dag Bjørndalen 10th and Ole-Einar Bjørndalen down in 15th, so 11 points for him and 5 taken away, so a gain of 6 points for him. So there's going to be a change of 4. My earlier calculations just a little bit out, and the gap at the top of the World Cup will be 5 or 6 with just 1 race remaining. Well, that's some consolation to Rikko Gross, who's lost the individual title today. Svend Fischer down in 17th place will gain another 9 on the World Cup and should stay in 3rd place after today's total. Now there are the differences, 288 versus 281, the early calculation. 7 is the difference. Svend Fischer holds on to 3rd place. Halvard Hannavold moving up ahead of Frode Andersen into 4th. Viktor Майгуров going up into 5th, a big gain by him. Frank Look in 7th. So it's so tight at the top. Dag Bjørndalen stays in 10th, Alexei Eiderov in 11th, Ludwig Gredler of Austria, disappointing today, but he's still in the top 15, and Maluhin of Latvia, for the first time, moves into the top 15 ahead of his teammate Ilmar Brikis. So the Latvians, 2 in the top 16. Pierre Alberto Carrara, 17th place. He's been climbing the ladder slowly throughout the season. Another name to have been moving upwards is Vil Räikkönen. Peter Sendel drops a bit with 23rd, the worst individual race he's had for a while. And Jan Vustenfeld, he also had a disappointing race. But Halvard Hannavold it is who comes in to head the individual World Cup. First place for him. He's 9 points clear of Rikko Gross. Ole-Einar Bjørndalen finishes in 3rd. Pierre Alberto Carrara of Italy in 4th. And Viktor Майгуров in 5th, having finished 3rd today. No sign of Драчёв, indicating that his season only really started 1 week ago. Peter Sendel, consistent throughout the season, ends in 7th place. Svend Fischer, 9th in the individual, but remember, he is still in 3rd position in the World Cup overall. But Bjørndalen has the advantage over Look, and Fischer just a few points behind them in 3rd. But today's winner here in Hofjellsen in the men's 20-kilometer, Vladimir Drachev of Russia. He's got the hat-trick, 3 races in a row, and who's to say he's not going to make it 4 on Saturday. Make sure you tune in for that. But this afternoon we have the women's individual event. That starts at 1 o'clock Central European time, midday in the UK. Stay with us for that if you can. It should be a real thriller, with Magdalena Forsberg and Uschi Diesel both in tight contention. Well, that wraps it up for Hofjellsen from now. From myself, Patrick Whittington, thanks for watching. Please join us later if you can. We'll look forward to your company.